Tippy, top of the morning to you, laddies, and welcome to Not Snapshot Day, my dudes. We've made it. Oh my god. Minecraft 1.21.6 pre-release numero uno. Hello, this is the first 1.21.6 pre-release. From now on, you'll see a lot of bug fixes and a chaotic random schedule. We're on the finish line of the second drop, baby. Today, we've got a bunch of final changes to take a look at, a brand new cape leak, and we're gonna dive into the Happy Ghast update release date. So stay in the know all the time with everything Minecraft related, smack that subscribe button, and you know how they say it. Let's dive right in. Now today, I want to kick things off with a little secret Easter egg that has made its way into the update. Oh my god, do you see it? I mean, come on, how could you not? So this one here, it all stems from last week's updates to the cloud. You might have heard about it by now, but we've got a little Easter egg. So Minecraft Java Edition, every time you hop into a world, teleport yourself over to these specific coordinates, and up in the sky, you'll have a little creeper face. Now, as you can kind of tell here, the clouds, they are moving, but moving very, very slowly. Essentially, these clouds will cycle through your world, but because of how they move in a straight line. So these things are going to go all the way down that way, and then eventually, like couple hours later, the cloud will cycle all the way back around and show up at this exact same spot. That means, in theory, I guess you could build a shrine at this location. A shrine to Creeper Face Cloud. Speaking of commands, kind of, the set world spawn command has gotten a big buff this week around. You see, it's always hinted that it would support it, but it never really fully worked. However, now, this command actually supports angles. You just say, I have to make sure you do it right. Look, I don't want to change the world spawn of this world. It's too beautiful, right? Speaking of this world, I'll be releasing a world download for Members Club very, very soon of this snapshot world. Now in size, overall, 1.21.6 per release number 1 is relatively small, but at the same time, it's kind of relatively large. Medium. Inside of this week's snapshot, we've got a brand new potential keybind. This keybind is going to be found all the way down in the miscellaneous section. It's called Quick Actions and is keybound by default to G. Now this new keybind, it actually directly relates to all of the dialogue business. As a little refresher, this dialogue stuff is a brand new command and functionality that popped up into snapshots only a couple of weeks ago. Basically, it has to do with custom screens being able to be created. So with our brand new fancy keybind that's low-key a little bit powerful here, if the tag is empty, the keybind will do nothing. That's how it is by default. If the tag has a single element, the keybind will open whatever that element is, a specific dialogue screen. If we have multiple elements, the keybind will lead to a quick action screen that'll let us select multiple elements. Wait, now multiple elements? What are you, an overachiever? I don't even have one element here. Other than by running one of these simple commands, we can kind of get a brief look as to what it would look like. So if I only had one option here, I would get whatever that option is. It might pop up and look something like this. But with the help of this command, we can check out the quick action screen, which right now looks pretty similar, but you could expect the screen to kind of have like a list of elements depending on how you set it up. This list of elements, just like this little button right here, could be tappable, and then you'd be able to check out even more. I am sorry, I know it's all a bit vague and abstract, you just have to imagine it. But alongside this dialogue screen stuff, they have made this stuff even more beefy for the 1.21.6 update. Dialogue fields. You can now control if a dialogue screen should pause the game when you are in single player. You can now also control what sort of action will happen after you close and open a dialogue screen. You can also throttle how quickly players could actually use these dialogue screens with a wait for response field. Wait for response basically locks buttons so you can't zoom through everything. You have to like actually read and process what you're looking at. On top of those functionalities, we have some brand new dialogue types, or more so changing of some and removal of other ones. They've removed a couple of these inputs here because functionality has kind of overlapped with some of this new juicy stuff. I still go back to what are the devs cooking with all of this new dialogue options, because within the vanilla game in this update, they're not necessarily like used or anything. There's no new menu or screen for say when we're playing with villagers or doing anything like that in game. For these dialogue input screens, they have now made it so you can input text, you can input a Boolean figure, you could input a number range. Honestly, we could probably do a little deep dive into these dialogue screens, and it's not off the table. And maybe I will one day. For now, we move on to zombie villagers. So, of course, when I spawn a zombie villager with a spawn egg, well, almost always it'll have a profession, but not always. However, when zombie villagers were spawning naturally inside of this update, they would always not have a profession, sort of like this dude right here. The devs have now fixed and polished that one out. When you see zombie villagers spawning in your world, they should again have randomized villager professions. Paintings, baby, they're beautiful. You'll enliven your base with wonderful painting. Painting placing was actually slightly adjusted in an earlier snapshot, but only adjusted in a buggy, broken way. This painting placing has now been restored and behaves just like it behaved before. Vibrations, baby. Today, we're all about good vibes. Speaking of good vibes, hopefully stay tuned. I should be live later today on this very channel with the brand new survival experience. Tap that subscribe button, turn notifications on. I'd love to see you swing by and talk. It's gonna be really fun. So our first new vibe here, we'll be able to check this out when we have a dried gas block. More specifically, we have a dried gas block that is going to cycle its state. So like, you know, when you're hydrating it. When a state cycles, a vibe should be detected of 11. The only problem here, it's not going to happen because I'm using the debug stick, so wah. But in a normal survival setting with this thing, signal strength 11. This means that you could build a machine to detect when your happy gas is actually growing up. Next up here, and this one should actually be able to be shown off properly, but for this one, we need any mob with a saddle on top of it. When we have a mob with a saddle on top of it and I shear it, a signal strength of 6 should happen. Llama, why do you take so long to tame llama? And wait a second, I found a bug. I'm pretty sure I'm off center on the llama, like almost hanging off the side maybe? Alrighty then, well, my llama got out. Don't ask how, it doesn't matter. But the shearing thing, if I have a carpet on a llama and I were to shear the llama, well, the same thing, a signal strength of 6 with an underlapping signal of 4 pops up. Yeah, so this is a really interesting one. We have an underlapping signal strength of 4. This is the signal strength for unequipping something. That 4 signal, we will never see it because it's weaker than 6, but I wonder if this is the only action, or it's got to be one of the few ones with 2 different vibration strengths. Lectern. Do you notice anything different about the lectern this week? Aha! How about shield build, silly shield? Do you notice anything slightly different and modified about this thing this week? Well, that's because various different items have had adjustments thanks to some handy bug fixes. When it comes to the lectern here, the lectern was actually previously clipping out of the inventory space. I bet you never knew about that. And then when it comes to floating items, some item models would actually be able to clip into the block below them when hovering on the ground. This change will affect things like the shield, but also slightly larger items. I always forget how big this thing is with the dragon head. It's floating a little bit higher up in the air than it did before. And by the way, this clipping into the ground, that would be like parts of the thing that hang lower, so the bottom of a shield or the bottom jaw of an ender dragon head. Oh, baby, this year, or since like last year, capes have been all the rage, man. Like, these things are crazy. We've gotten so many capes lately, and there's another new one. Another new cape has popped up. Now, right now, this cape is only on 1 player worldwide. This cape right here, it has a little bit of a question mark looking design with yellow and then gray on the bottom. This is actually the old Oxeye Games logo. Now, Oxeye Games is a slightly separate game studio, but still Mojang adjacent. This is actually the game studio that developed Cobalt, Mojang's other game. This is actually a game studio that, as you can see from this list of different members here, Jeb is a part of. The weird thing here is that Oxeye Games seems to have been basically inactive all the way since 2018, so, what? If you were curious on how the elytra for this cape might look, I mean, it actually looks pretty similar to the actual proper cape itself. Gotta say though, I love the idea of a dark black cape. Like, that would be really cool. Now, this new cape, it's so random, and right now, absolutely unknown as to what's going on with it. Is Oxeye Studios coming back? Is this a placeholder for yet another cape, and maybe something related to the Happy Ghast update? I mean, after all, we have multiple capes relating to updates. Cherry Blossom Cape, a creaking cape right there. Maybe we could see another one for the Happy Ghast. Speaking of Happy Ghast, this week around, we've got a little bit more polish when it comes to this guy. First up, a big fix here. Sometimes when players would dismount the Happy Ghast, well, players would actually ghost through this thing and fall all the way down to the ground. That doesn't seem to happen anymore. There were also a little bit of desynchronization issues with the Happy Ghast when mounting or dismounting it. Those issues have been smoothed over. Our other thing that is now impossible to do here when it comes to the Happy Ghast is fly with a Happy Ghast through another Happy Ghast that a player is riding. However, if there is no player on the Happy Ghast, you could still absolutely fly clean into the other Happy Ghast. Oh, wait, hold on. I feel like I should have censored this whole screen. That feels a little bit odd, right? It's not quite Happy Ghast, at least yet, but Happy Ghast adjacent. The ambient sounds that come from the dried gas block when you place it on soul sand. Well, if you don't like them and you don't want to hear them, you can now control them with the blocks tab right here instead of ambient and environment. Alright, now aside from diving into the thick of it, when it comes to the technical changes in this update, bug fixes, things like that, there's like 20-something release dates. Technically speaking, we don't have one, but we can pretty much call it. For this one, we have beautiful rainbow calendar. What do you think? Tell me all about it. It's nice, right? For this one, we can use data and facts to analyze the release date, and who knows, maybe by the time this video is out, well, maybe by the time it is, the devs have fully announced the release date. So first things first, in order to predict this one, the preview for Bedrock Edition that dropped this week, it's pretty small. This preview is the 6th preview for 1.21.90 and likely wraps up this update cycle on Bedrock Edition. Today on Java Edition, we have a pre-release, so that signals the beginning of the end of an update cycle. Usually, there's only a couple of weeks after the pre-release until the full release. Now, with these update releases, Bedrock Edition is so consistent with being able to give us a hint or a clue as to when an update is going to release. Basically, with a previous update cycle, 1.21.80, when the final preview releases, the update will drop 2 or 3 weeks after that preview. Bam, so calendar here. Let's say our final preview released over here. Where that star is, that's May. Where this other star is, that's today, right here, May 28th. Now jumping back in time to just about this exact day, but last year, Minecraft 1.21 pre-release number 1 dropped. Minecraft 1.21, you know, a giant major update bigger than this update, would then go on to release on June 13th, 2024, about 2 weeks later. So over here on our calendar here, our facts, May 27th, May 28th, big dates. We could use this information to predict when the release date is. That star, it's again inside of May. This would be week 1, that would be week 2, that would be week 3. I think our release date for the Happy Ghast update is either June 10th or June 17th. Minecraft updates nowadays, they almost always release on a Tuesday. It's not always the case. We'll know our release date for sure, if not today, within the next couple of days here, but June 10th or June 17th, mark your calendars. It is Minecraft update release season, and then baby, it's time to move on to the next. Today, thank you all so much for watching this snapshot video and supporting me through this update season. I appreciate you. I really can't wait to see what happens with this next update. Hopefully, we'll kick things off in a couple of weeks. Stay tuned, besties. I know you've been asking for a survival series from yours truly, and well, yeah, hopefully later today, we kick it off live on stream together. Thanks for watching. I'll see you there. Goodbye, everyone.